Claymore Manga Overview. Section 1. Intro to Claymore and Norihiro Yagi. No matter what in the circle of life, there is a predator and there is prey. Paranoia and fear take up every waking thought as you go about living in the Middle Ages. In hushed tones, there is but one word that elicits these feelings above all else. Yoma. Monsters that prey on humans as if they are cattle. The only line of defense against the mindless feedings and slaughter is one organization called the Claymores. Half human, half Yoma, this organization of women serves to protect humanity at all costs while trying to claw back their own in a hopeless fight for control. Whether they win or not does not matter. Their duty is above all else, even their own lives. But there is one Claymore, one woman who changes not only herself and others, but the organization and the fate of the world itself in the process. Claymore is a 27-volume, 156-chapter manga written and drawn by Norihiro Yagi. Other works of Yagi include Angel Densetsu, Sokyu no Ariadne, Gecko no Arcadia, and Undead Man. Claymore ran from 2001 to 2014, first in Shueisha's Shonen Jump until 2007, before transferring to Jump Square from 2007 to 2014. The manga was licensed in North America by Viz Media from 2006 to October 2015. There is also a 26-episode anime series adapted by Madhouse and broadcast from April to September 2007. Norihiro Yagi was born on December 18, 1968 in Okinawa, Japan. He is 55 to 56 years old and started his manga journey in 1990. Before starting Claymore, he created the one-shot Undead Man, which appeared in Shonen Jump, spawning 2 sequels and won him the 32nd Akatsuka Award. After Undead Man, he created Angel Densetsu, which ran from 1992 to 2000. In 2001, he created Claymore and solidified himself as a master mangaka. According to Norihiro Yagi himself, his favorite activities are listening to hard rock music, playing video games, driving, and performing martial arts. Section 2. Story Overview. The story starts with a mysterious silver-eyed woman battling a monster and winning. It then cuts to people in a village gathered around a dead body, exclaiming that there is a Yoma in the village. We move to the villagers discussing solutions to the problem inside a house with the village chief. They just can't round up any suspicious characters, as Yoma can blend in perfectly with humans. The village chief silences all discussion by announcing he has hired a Claymore to slay the Yoma plaguing his village. The townsfolk are unsure but admit that Claymores are the only ones that can sense Yoma. We then see a young boy named Rocky waiting outside, the younger brother of the person who was arguing with the chief. Rocky's unsure of what a Claymore is and asks his older brother, whose name is Zaki, to explain. Claymores are half humans, half Yoma, who are tasked to kill Yoma at the orders of an organization called Claymore. They become Claymores by taking the flesh and blood of Yoma into their own body, making them strong enough to fight Yoma. Furthermore, only females adapt successfully. Every male that they've tried died. Claymores, with their silver eyes, when about to slay a Yoma, their eyes turn gold, making them stand out. The Claymore shows up with the villagers in shock and awe, their first sight of a Claymore. They say that they call them Claymores after their swords, being able to swing such heavy and powerful swords easily. The townsfolk can't tell whether they should trust the Claymore before cutting to the Claymore and the village chief talking. He offers her the money up front, with her informing him that the payment is only after the job is done and handed to someone else. There is no point in taking the money if she gets killed. The chief questions how she'll find the Yoma, with her saying that she can detect their aura and that either she or the Yoma will be dead by the end of the battle. After the Claymore leaves, the chief stumbles out of his chair, taken aback by her. Scared out of his mind, he remarks that he thought that she'd be more human. Instead, he likens her to more of a monster. As the townsfolk flee inside their homes, the Claymore pulls her sword on Rocky, who tries to sneak behind her. Rocky questions her about the name of the Claymores, with her remarking that it was the humans who pushed the name upon them, and that the organization has no name. Rocky is not scared of her, saying that she's just a regular girl. After a bit of time in walking, the Claymore plunges her sword into the ground and rests on the outskirts of town. Rocky tells her that she'll grant him his wish of killing the Yoma, with him revealing that the Yoma killed his parents and left only him and his older brother alive. Rocky jumps up, having forgotten to make dinner, and asks for her name before leaving. She tells him her name is of no consequence and that he'll forget it soon enough. Rocky rushes home to find his uncle dead and Zaki, his brother, taking on the appearance of a Yoma, exclaiming that the uncle's guts were delicious. The Yoma continues, saying that it was tough pretending to be human and that Rocky never noticed. When Rocky's parents were killed, the Yoma took the opportunity to take over the brother's mind and body. Using his memories and body to hide in the village, he laid low until the village elder decided to call in a Claymore. The Yoma, while taunting Rocky, starts crying, saying what's left of Zaki is crying for him. Rocky charges at the Yoma before being blown back, the Yoma pointing out how they've been living among humans since ancient times. They are the predator, and the humans are nothing but prey, unable to fight back. The Claymore then busts through the roof, her eyes glowing gold as she prepares to fight the Yoma, having followed his scent. The Yoma charges at the Claymore, shouting that humans are no match for Yoma and that she's frail. She appears behind him, slashing his shoulder. The Yoma is very surprised that she can keep up with him. They jump and fight each other all over the house before she gets the drop on him from above and slices his left arm clean off. The Yoma questions how can a half-breed move faster than a full-blooded Yoma. He runs and takes Rocky hostage, saying that she has to cut through Rocky to get through to him. In a flash, she appears to the left side of him and slices his right arm off. The Claymore then tells the monster why a half-breed can slay a Yoma. By taking in Yoma flesh into their own body, they can move faster and attain strength far greater than a regular human or even full-blooded Yoma, even being able to wield a Claymore sword in one hand. The Yoma begs for his life as the Claymore powers up. She then slices him in half, fully killing him and powering down, leaving Rocky to hug himself and cry, left in the aftermath of the bloody battle. The townsfolk the next day gossip about how Zaki was the Yoma, exclaiming surprise at the quickness of the Claymore to finish the job. We next see Zaki, huddled in the corner of the chief's house, speechless and in shock since yesterday. The chief tells him to forget it, the Claymore's words harkening back to him earlier in the chapter about how he'll forget her name. As he sits there, the chief discusses with another person the whereabouts of the Claymore. He says that she's already on the way to the next village for her next job. Hearing that, Rocky bursts out of the house, running towards the Claymore, her words echoing in his head. He yells at her to wait, telling her that she was right. Rocky was afraid for a very long time when his parents were killed, and he is ashamed of pretending. He'll never forget that she killed the monster that destroyed his family, telling her that he is truly grateful. He asks for her name, to which she replies, "My name's Claire." Section 3. Sneak peek into the rest of the manga. The manga takes a sharp turn into what it wants to prioritize in terms of characters and the pace at which it sets out to achieve this goal. Norihiro Yagi himself admits at the end of the manga interviews that he only planned in terms of set volumes. So he planned to do only 5 volumes, then realized it would take longer, then came 10 volumes, then 15, etc. He would adjust the story as he would come to these realizations. As a result, character development and focus would shift and the natural storytelling and tone would change as a result. After a certain point in the story, the manga will focus on different characters and overall shift into a more fighting-focused manga on the level of other shonen mangas, but with a Claymore twist and feel. Section 4. Art Style. The art style mixes realism and the typical manga/anime art style really well. Human characters are designed realistically with accurate facial and body proportions with a Japanese twist. Environments are detailed but not to the point of overwhelming the characters or whatever else is happening on the page. Pen pressure is used when the outline varies from thick to thin, depending on Norihiro Yagi's taste, and smoothly transitions from light to heavy and vice versa. It dries her eyes on faces and other places the author wants you to see. Hatching and cross-hatching aren't used as liberally or as quote-unquote roughly as something such as not shown, but has their own place among the gradients used in the manga and are well placed. Indicating noses are under the jaws, in the environments, clothing, or on bodies. It is a beautiful manga, cleanly drawn, and every line has a purpose with no waste. The monsters are big and hulking with a great amount of realistic detail and care put into them. As the manga goes further along into the chapter count, speed lines, character placement, hatching, and other various shading techniques are used much more frequently. Monsters look grotesque and horrifyingly detailed. Environments grow bigger and bolder as much as the monsters themselves. This is a beautiful manga, with the monster design being the best in the business. Section 5. Character Design of Claymores. Delving a bit further into the future of the manga, there needs to be something said about the character design. Claymores are, as explained in the story overview, only women with silver eyes. They all wear the same armor and the same one piece underneath their armor. They are also all blonde, as turning into a claymore changes their natural hair color to blonde. We also find out that there are 47 claymores at any given time, with special slots dedicated to certain claymores, and the ranks can be moved up and down at the organization's behest. In the story, we are introduced to a variety of claymores, all wearing the same armor and clothing, the same hair color, and all wielding the same titular claymore as a sword. In a fighting manga such as Claymore, especially later on in the series, it is hard to distinguish who is who when the story introduces them, even more so when they are fighting. The only difference is personality, hairstyle, dialogue, etc. With more and more introduced and the concept of generations of Claymore later on, it gets confusing on a first reading. Section 6. Paneling. The paneling in Claymore is wide open and a breath of fresh air compared to modern mangas. The pages are big and wide, thoughtfully placed, and flow very well together. Fight scenes are left to breathe with satisfying character placement. The general flow of panels is nothing innovative but are easy to read and will not tire the eyes or mind. There is a fair amount of dialogue, especially as things get more complex and plot lines become less linear, but it isn't an issue. The panels especially shine when a new character or monster is revealed, showing a full body shot or the aftermath of the destruction caused by a transformation or devastating attack. Section 7. Ending Thoughts. Claymore is what happens when you combine Berserk and The Witcher, taking the monsters and slaying aspect of The Witcher along with the gore and grittiness of the Berserk battles and timeline, combining them with mainly an all-female cast and battles on the scale of other shonen manga. The art is beautifully drawn and rendered, environments are equally well drawn and thought of, and the monster designs are bar none the best in the business. The paneling does its job and lets the manga breathe. Action scenes flow well and are designed smartly with equal parts strategy and all-out fighting. Dialogue tends to become a bit much as the series goes on, and the same can be said for the character design. A lot is explained and things can still become confusing even on rereads. A good majority of the Claymores are hard to tell apart in normal dialogue, let alone in fights. This is remedied a little on second and third rereadings, but it remains a problem nonetheless even in the anime adaptation. It seems as if this manga is lost to time, as it is not mentioned as fondly as its counterpart Berserk. Claymore, however, stands on its own 2 feet and carves a path out on its own. Claire's journey, as well as the journey of the other Claymores, is inspiring, and its themes of humanity, friendship, and perseverance are genuine tearjerkers and remain in memory for a long time after being experienced. This manga is a masterpiece despite the shifted focus as the story goes on, and the lack of clarity in the Claymore design. If all you want to see is cool girls fighting monsters, there's that too. My name is Art Dude Saz. You can just call me Saz. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Thank you.